The world hums along, people wake up, go to work, check their phones, worry about the mortgage. It all feels so permanent. But in Silicon Valley's quiet corners and global finance's boardrooms, a different story is unfolding. The architects of our modern world are quietly, methodically, and expensively planning their exit. They see something the rest of us don't, or won't. This isn't about retirement or a weekend getaway. It's a calculated exodus. Subtle moves. A land purchase here. A strange construction project there. A quiet shift of assets. Beneath the headlines of innovation, a ghost narrative runs. The visionaries who promised a connected world are now spending fortunes to disconnect. They're buying up land in New Zealand, Idaho, and other remote corners, places far from the chaos they see coming. Listen to the whispers among the elite. The event, a catch-all for societal breakdown, feels inevitable to them. They have the data, the foresight, and the money, and they're using all three to build a shadow world, ready to go live when the primary one goes dark. They're not panicking. Panic is for the unprepared. This is a plan years in the making, a quiet, deliberate preparation for a future most people are too busy to consider. The signs are there, hidden in plain sight: zoning permits for underground structures, tech billionaires suddenly interested in off-grid farming, a boom in private security firms. This is the great unspoken migration of the modern age. Not a migration for opportunity, but for sanctuary. The powerful are moving their pieces, while the rest of the world doesn't even know a game is being played. Forget the golden parachute. The idea that billionaires are just planning for retirement is a comforting myth. The truth, they're preparing for rupture, a fundamental break in the system. They see a perfect storm of threats: economic collapse, technological upheaval, political instability. They're not worried about a market dip, they're worried about the market vanishing. They know the cracks in the system because they built it. When it falls, it will fall fast. They're not just buying gold or crypto, they're buying assets that can't be erased by a keystroke. AI, once their darling, is now a source of anxiety, mass unemployment, autonomous systems spiraling out of control. The disruption they unleashed could turn on its creators. Politically, they see the erosion of democracy, the rise of populism, and the threat of civil conflict. The ultra-wealthy know history. When society destabilizes, they're the first targets. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. They're preparing for a cascade of failures, economic, technological, political, that could break the system entirely. What does this preparation look like? Not just a safe in the basement, it's a fortified ecosystem for long-term survival. The foundation: remote, defensible, self-sufficient land. Peter Thiel and others have bought property in New Zealand, the American West, and remote islands. Not for vacations but as fortresses. Underground luxury bunkers feature independent power, advanced filtration, hydroponic farms, and medical bays. These are subterranean mansions, built to sustain life for years. Security is layered, state-of-the-art surveillance, private security teams, and digital fortresses with satellite comms and mesh networks. They're building private internets, ensuring control even if the public grid fails. Logistically, they have bug-out plans: jets, helicopters, pre-positioned vehicles, and supplies. Redundancy is key. Multiple locations, escape routes, and sources of power and food. This is a multi-million-dollar operation designed to get them out before the gates close for good. The ultimate insurance policy. To understand their actions, you have to understand how they think. Most people focus on jobs, bills, and vacations living within the system. Billionaires think about the system itself: financial, political, technological, social. They're masters of second-order thinking, asking, if this happens, what's next? They game out scenarios most dismiss as science fiction. They see dominoes lined up and step aside before the first one falls. They act before crisis is obvious, reading subtle shifts in data and global trends. While the public watches the news, they watch the underlying structure and see cracks forming. Secrecy is essential in collapse. Being known as the one with resources is a liability. They build in remote locations, use shell corporations, and require strict NDAs. Their silence is a survival strategy, the ultimate hedge. Publicly, they perform optimism, funding causes, giving speeches, projecting hope. But the truth is in their actions, not their words. The real conversations happen behind closed doors, on encrypted channels. The ultimate tell isn't what they say, but where they place their bets. And they're betting on collapse. They're building bunkers, not schools, securing escape routes, not public infrastructure. Their private preparations reveal a lack of faith in the systems they publicly champion. This silence is strategic. If the public knew, panic could follow. So they maintain the facade, playing the role of confident leader while preparing for disaster. The rest of us are left to connect the dots. Land purchases, off-grid projects, sudden interest in resilience. Viewed together, a clear pattern emerges. A quiet, coordinated retreat. Their loudest message is the one they try hardest to keep quiet. The ship is sinking, and they're securing lifeboats while telling us to enjoy the cruise. Most people are playing checkers, focused on the next move, trusting the system will hold. The wealthy are playing chess, thinking 10 moves ahead. They know traditional wealth stocks, bonds, cash is only as good as the institutions behind it. In a crisis, those promises can vanish overnight. Their strategy convert digital wealth into tangible, defensible assets, land, food, water security. While you manage your retirement portfolio, they're managing a survival portfolio. They're hedging against risks most people can't imagine. The gap isn't just wealth, it's perception. They see the fragility of the world we've built. They're preparing for a storm while most argue about the forecast. This isn't a call to panic, but to pay attention. The game is changing. The quiet actions of the super rich are a signal, a canary in the coal mine. They're telling us without saying a word that the assumptions we live by may be wrong. True security isn't in a bank statement, but in resilience. While most play checkers, a few are preparing to survive long after the board is swept away.